just wanted to make a video. I saw a post on Reddit talking about how Ignite's dead in the water, can't get any damage. It's just not very good right now, and I wanted to show that that's kind of just not true right now. Before I post this part, I'll probably put in a picture or a clip of a Zest kill. I don't know if I'm gonna use, sorry about my dog, I don't know if I'm gonna use one of the T3 ones I've got, where I kind of messed up the rotation, or if I'm gonna go for the T4 kill. I'm kind of taking a break from PoE right now. I just wanted to come back and record this to show that Ignite is far from dead on arrival. So, this is a little bit of an updated guide on the build. The issue with the previous one was that it didn't really have much in the way of survivability. And I was working with someone who reached out to me from the Reddit post to collab on the build a little bit. He lent me some gear to try out and recommended an alternative tree here. So the big change is that now for high tier content like, you know, T18 maps and difficulty 3 and 4 breaches, we run 2 separate Flamblast setups, one for single target and one for clear. Just because the fireball's great for tier 15 maps, but the damage just falls off since it's not scaling with anything other than our crit chance. Just falls off real fast. For survivability, we run 2% life on kill, another 2% life on kill, and a 2% mana on kill. And this clear Flame Blast is run in our offhand, which I need to set back up. I just got a +1 corruption, so now I'm using my old 6 link for clear. But there you go. This is the clear Flame Blast. You can see it covers the majority of the screen here. And that's running our weapon swap with a shield to give us that block chance. And then we're now running Eldritch Battery with these mana nodes, Arcane Blossom, and the life taken from mana, or damage taken from mana before life, and the damage taken from mana before life over here. So that kind of scoots some of the damage to our mana pool. We went and picked up our final ascendancy. So now we're only taking, like, what is this, 16, 24% to mana. 25% isn't taken immediately, so we're only immediately taking 50% damage to our life, which makes the build feel way, way tankier. Combined with 45% block chance. And on top of all of that, we're running a Blasphemy now with Temp Chains and Encumbrance, and so that's only on our weapon swap, though. We have a bunch of AoE for Blasphemy, enemies who curse are hindered with reduced movement speed, and then we've got Hinder, or just generic slow magnitude, and then all of the curse effect up here. This one might not seem terribly efficient, but we're also still using a manual flammability for bosses, so that curse duration is really nice. And then finally we have all of this AoE over here, which is serving double duty, hitting both our Blasphemy and our Flame Blast, which is how we get our Flame Blast so big. So my current setup, I am using this Adorned. This was lent to me by the guy who's collabing on the build with me. But if this is very expensive, I'm aware. So if you don't have this, just run these 4-stat jewels. Let me see if I can find one real quick. These are cheap, and they will be almost as good. If you can get double... Not those ones. Crit chance. You're looking for double crit damage. Yeah. Crit damage, magnitude. Or crit damage, magnitude. Either one of those will be like 75% as good as what these ones are. So, just run those if you can't get the Adorned. Most people probably won't be able to. But, I mean, the build's overkill. Right now, we're looking at probably like... That's not the right sheet. This one. Right now, gym level... Let's say you're still running a level 19. And... yeah, so... right now, looking at... 75 million. If you replace your jewels, then you're still gonna be looking at, you know, 50, 60 million. Like, it's a little bit overkill. And okay, what else do I need to go over? Morior Invictus. This is like one div to pick up. This is something that the collaborator recommended. Swapped the... let's see if I can find it. Swapped at Ziri's Disdain for a high ES mana helmet. And if you are doing the Flamblast setup, you actually want to run these cast speed rings if you can get them. They make this feel a lot comfier versus still pretty quick, but this cast speed is very helpful. I had some people saying your build isn't, you know, the cost you say it is. You're running Ingenuity. Ingenuity is... it's nice, don't get me wrong, but in the end, it's not really that much damage for the build. Like, right here, it's hitting the cast speed. Right here, all it's hitting is cast speed. In the previous version I uploaded, it was giving, what, 20, 40% spell damage. You can easily run something like this, where you're getting life, mana, and resists. This belt is, what, 140 life, 100 mana, and good resists. And it gives you good mana recovery and life recovery on your flasks, which are pretty... for a blood mage, this life flask is very important. Going with mana stacking now, the mana flask doesn't feel as, you know, as effective, but it's still nice to have when you get into a sticky situation. You don't need Ingenuity, guys. It's nice. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. Someone in my last video was like, haha, gotcha! But it's not the gotcha. I already, in my build, in the max roll, I already addressed. You don't need this. This is not that much damage for the build. On your weapon swap here, just use, you know, whatever you can get. You want crit chance on this one, though, because we're not running ambush in the... Or no, we are running ambush. We're not using the Eye of Winter on trash. So you're going to want the crit chance on your weapon swap to make up for that difference. 100% for me caps out crit using ambush. So the links for the clear Flamblast, we're looking at Magnified Effect, Arcane Tempo, and Mobility. These make it feel good for clear. And then Ambush to guarantee the crit. Magnified Effect. The damage link I would run on this one, I mean, honestly, would probably be something like LE Focus or Ignition. This Flame Blast isn't doing nearly as much damage because you're using, you know, 4 support gems for clear. I haven't thought a lot about the 6th link because, like I said, I had a live search going and someone put up a cheap 6th link Flame Blast, so I grabbed it and logged on, grabbed it and vaulted it and got lucky. I haven't played since then. But it would probably be like LE Focus or Ignition off the top of my head. Here's our links. This is for the clear setup. If you are wanting to do something like a pinnacle boss, then what I've been doing, let's see, you grab these, you grab this, and you'll see all of this in the kill showcase. Sorry, the dog is barking. I don't know if y'all can hear that. There's some guys doing construction work outside. He's going crazy. So for single target and pinnacle bosses, and you don't, again, this is just for pinnacle bosses. If you're just doing maps, even like a tier 18 map, your single target Flame Blast in the clear setup is going to be more than enough. This is like if we're talking Zesh tier 3, tier 4, where they've got 20, 30, 40 million life. So we're swapping in Temp Chain Self-Cast with Cursed Ground and Persistence. And then you're going to swap out the Clear Flame Blast. You're going to put in Soul Offering, Ablation, and Dawn's Macabre. And then if you really want to go crazy, you swap out Blink for Sniper's Mark. This is new tech since the last video, but this gives flat critical damage bonus. I didn't realize. So that 47% critical damage bonus is getting multiplied by 7 times. So normally, the way critical damage works in PoE 1, you just had crit multi, and crit multi was crit multi. It didn't matter where it came from. It all just added on, and the total of that multiplied your damage. In PoE 2, it works the same way as percent crit chance, or it's the same way as crit chance. You've got base crit multi, and you've got increased crit multi. And normally your crit multi base is 100%. So if you've got 100% base, and you come over here and you take, you know, these 2 nodes, these 3 nodes, to give 60% increased critical damage bonus, it's going to work just like PoE 1 with, you know, those, because the base is 100. These are going to give you 60% crit multi. But on melee weapons and ranged weapons, you can get a stat for percent critical damage bonus. Not increased, but critical damage bonus. That adds to your base. And then that total is multiplied by your increased. Spellcasters can't get that, though. On the wands, it's increased critical damage bonus. But with Sniper's Mark, you can get flat. So you're going to add this 47% to the 100, and then 147 crit multi multiplied by all of these increases. And that's going to give you, well, 519% increased plus 41 takes you to 700. So Sniper's Mark is giving us another 2 times our damage. Sorry, I'm flubbing the hotkeys here. Like I said, I've been taking a little bit of a break. So that's the newest tech that I've come up with. And depending on if I decide to record another clip for the start of this video, you may or may not see this in effect. But that's how we're doing even more damage now. That Sniper's Mark is the difference between 56 million and 75 million Ignite damage. Okay. Is there anything else I didn't cover? Plus Dispels Amulet. This amulet plus 3 level of all spell skills is like 20%, 25% damage. It's pretty important. I don't think anything else has really changed. I'll show you all the rotation. Oh, the other thing you want to do for single target is you're going to swap your offhand set with a chiming staff. This isn't something I said in the last video, so I'll cover it here. You want this chiming staff, make sure that it's level 18 Sigil of Power, and make sure plus 5 level of all spell skills is what I have found to be ideal, because flammability has a breakpoint at level 28 to go from 38 to 39% fire res, and Sigil of Power has a breakpoint at, it's like level 25 to go from 15 to 16% more spell damage per stage. So if you get a plus 5, then you should hit both of those breakpoints. As long as you have a level 19 flammability with plus 1 fire mastery. Which, I mean, this is pretty free. I think if you get a plus 7 all spell skills and a level 20 flammability, you can hit another breakpoint, but that would be 2 divines for the level 20 skill gem, and levels plus 7. I don't know if you can get plus 7 generic spell skills. I'd have to look at that again. But there is another breakpoint on flammability that you might be able to hit if you have more money to throw at this than I do. Yeah. So we'll show the rotation real quick. So we'll pretend the map device is the boss over there. You're going to drop... Boss is in his RP phase. Before he finishes that, you're going to drop that. And that's going to make the boss go real slow and give you plenty of time to set up. So then you drop your Sigil of Power. You're going to charge it up here with some flammabilities. Drop your Solar Orb. Boss spawns. Eye of Winter. Mana Tempest. Oh, you know what? I forgot. You want to make sure you've got these guys spawned. Alright, alright. Take 2. So, Temp Chains, Sigil of Power. Get it some charges here. You're going to Solar Orb. Eye of Winter. Use your Soul Offering. Mana Tempest. And then Flamblast. Make sure you flammability the boss at some point too. A little bit rusty there. Like I said, through this whole video, I've been taking a bit of a break from PoE. I've got like 600 hours in the last month, so little bit of burnout, but you know. Again, you don't have to do that whole rotation every time. We're overkilling. We're overkilling T2, T4 Zesht by 2.5 times. So, you know, leave something out, whatever. One thing I noticed while I was casting that, you want to make sure that you've got Unleash in your Eye of Winter. That'll help it hit max stacks every time. So, there you go. Yeah, I think that's about it. Ignite doesn't suck. The clear sometimes can be a little bit slow. You're not, you know, lightning arrow, you're not spark. You know, the clear is what the clear is, but once you invest enough in your crit, Fireball feels great for tier 15 maps. And you are only having to use Flamblast for the, like tier 18, tier 3 Zesh, tier 3 Breach, whatever. Feels pretty good. Anyway, I'm out. Okay, one more thing. There's always something you forget in the first take. There is some... Let's see. Okay. So there's these that you can get. Let's scroll down till we find one. They're like 8 or 9 div. There's one. 10 div. +3 level of Flamblast. 8 div. 8 div. I haven't gotten one of these yet. I'd like to play around with one. But if you grab that, you've got the +1 corruption like what I've got now on a level 20. So you're paying 10 div to get an extra 4. Or what is that? 4 spell levels. And then you've got the sniper's mark. This is what you're kind of looking at right here. And I believe on this build, those extra levels would bring the faster cast, because Flameblast, the mana costs more per second, but the same total amount based on your cast speed. So for the faster Flameblast, I was looking at like 1,100 mana in life per second. So pretty hefty cost there, but you know, that's one way you can get even more damage. And on your clear, that would probably feel pretty good. You could probably drop something to make it feel even better. Get these guys out of here. Thread of Hope, it's like 1 div for a decent roll. It is kind of necessary for this version, unless you have, well, no, I don't think 1, 2, 3, 4 more levels. So if you're level 93, you don't really need it. Alright, I just wanted to come back and show that that jewel was an option if you've got more playing around money. But again, that's going to make your Flameblast cost almost twice as much. Anyway, peace out.
I need more time.